Welcome to the Have Good Ripple Effect podcast. Let's jump right in. Welcome back to the Have Good Ripple Effect podcast. I'm Lisa, your host, and today I'm thinking about the end of season 2. If you're listening, this is the last episode of the second season, and boy, I have learned so much about the power and also the difficulty and challenges that come with creating a podcast. It's something that I had never done. And I think in season 1, if you listen back, you'll probably notice, gosh, she looks and feels a little bit uncomfortable. And now in season 2, I feel like, okay, I've got my sea legs under me, but gosh, there is so much to learn. And it made me laugh. I saw the quote the other day on a friend's social media, and it said this: make it exist first and make it better later. And how often in our lives do we feel like, gosh, I shouldn't do the thing because I don't or can't predict the exact outcome? Like, well, I won't be any good at it, or I don't know if that will work. And I know I've left a lot of opportunities kind of like tucked away or ideas in my pocket thinking, well, I just don't know the end result. So why would I even do it? And I think that quote of make it exist first and make it better later is just a really great reminder that sometimes you just have to get going. You have to put out the idea or the thought into the world and just start. And so thank you for listening along with me as I learn and grow in the podcasting space. But also I made note of just some inventions or products that I use every day and how they've gotten better over time. I was, pulling my cell phone out of my purse this morning, and I have an iPhone, and it's thin and it fits in like a very small purse or even my pocket. And I was thinking about how I remember riding in my grandma's boat of a car, right? Really big white boat looking thing, probably a Bonneville or some of some sort. And I remember the back seat, there was a noise, like a ring. It was coming from the back seat. And she goes, "Oh, can you grab the car phone and answer it? I bet it's your grandpa." And I had never seen a car phone. If you've never seen or heard of one, they're basically like a big bag with a phone inside. And I laugh because it's probably the size of, I don't know, a small toaster maybe. And you like unzip the pocket, and then inside was the receiver, and you put that to your ear and you spoke to it. And I remember just thinking like, gosh, what a concept that you could be talking on the phone while riding in the car. And now, like this morning, I pulled my my phone out of my purse, and away I went and didn't give it a thought. There have been so many products that just needed to exist so then we could iterate, whether it's, I think about coffee and how it's gotten better. You can make single cups or lots of cups at once. Even our Dyson vacuum. I have 2 middle school aged kids, and they're constantly dropping crumbs and meals on the floor. It feels like entire meals. And I'm vacuuming up all this extra. And I think about how, even 10 years ago, we couldn't have had, or at least afforded, a vacuum that was cordless that literally sat in our pantry closet and we used 3 or 4 times a day. Now, you get the point that things evolve over time. And my question for you is, what are you thinking about creating? What could you create? Like, make it exist and then make it better later. For me, the podcast is one of those things. I'm also just a couple other things that I'm dreaming towards. I wrote a book called Joy is My Job, and it's all about the idea that if you wait for joy to find you, you're going to wait forever, that you need to create it now. And so in that book, I give some ideas about how to create joy, how to tackle the barriers, whether we're busy or stressed or, all the things that we use as validation of like, well, I can't have joy. I have so much to do. And my husband and I tackled that challenge in our personal lives. And then I decided, okay, I need to write this down so other people can get out and do it. As I'm dreaming towards the next season of many things, one of them is actually sending out more detailed, like, here's how you do it. And so starting in May, I will be sending out a bi-weekly email. So every 2 weeks, you'll get cool ideas delivered to your door. Now, I couldn't have done that a year ago because the book really didn't exist yet. Like, it wasn't a real life thing. And beyond that, I have a dream to turn these joy ideas into games and kits And I just think about how if I would have sat here and said, well, Lisa, you don't really know how to write a book, or you really don't know how to do a podcast. So, yeah, you probably shouldn't do it. How that wouldn't have happened. Now, you've probably got things that you're like thinking about or dreaming towards. And my challenge to you is what can you get out there and do? Oftentimes, it's the quiet work, it's the things that we're doing when no one is watching, whether it's researching something or for me learning how to use a podcast microphone. What can you do to make it exist and then make it better later? And I've gotten to a point where sometimes, if I feel like maybe the person is like a little bit judgmental of that, I readied myself when I wrote the book thinking if someone comes up to me and says, your book's not very good, then I was like, I need to have a response so that A, don't break down in tears or get really hot and sweaty and red faced. And my response was going to be, because this has never happened, but it made me feel better to think it. My response was going to be, I'm doing hard things. What about you? Like, what are you dreaming towards or doing the thing that, yep, might not be the best out there, but you're making it exist and making it better later? One final thing that I am thinking about as I roll into season 2, I'm starting to divide leadership and life. And so you're the first to hear it actually, a sneak peek of 2 podcasts. One, you know it, Have Good Ripple Effect. We'll still talk a lot about leadership in this space. You'll hear a little bit of life, but mostly leadership. And then I'm kicking off a second podcast because I want to talk about entrepreneurship and business and life and joy and really have a great way to direct people to the thing that they're interested in. Sometimes my leaders aren't really interested in entrepreneurship, and sometimes the folks that are interested in joy aren't necessarily thinking about it in the context of leadership. So that's one of the things that I'm dreaming to. I'm going to make it exist and then I'm going to make it better later. I will be sending lots of details your way. Please, please, please watch for more announcements on the make it exist and make it better later idea that I have. But my challenge again is get out there and create something worth doing. As I always say, you happen to the world, not the other way around. So get out there, create it. And I'd love to hear more. If you like this, share this with a friend, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next season on the Have Good Ripple Effect podcast. Thanks for listening. Visit lisaeden.com to learn about events and grab a copy of my book, Joy is My Job.